I'd like to call up the Church in Ocean Park Choir. We have a song for you this morning. And today, we have some special musical guests today online, Magpie. I will introduce them later. But thanks to Kim Harris and Reggie Harris and Magpie, this is the song that Kim shared with me, and we can sing it for you today. It's called Solar Carol, and you will recognize it, and I invite you to sing along during the chorus. Yes.
See the sun, how bright it shines on the nations of the earth. All who share this thing called life celebrate each day's rebirth. Solar power, inexpensive energy. Solar power, inexpensive energy. Brother River, so you hear how the valley calls you down. Send your rushing waters near, let the joyful hills resound. Solar power, inexpensive energy. Solar power, inexpensive energy. We've heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plain, and the windmills in reply, echoing their glad refrain. Solar power, inexpensive energy. Solar power, inexpensive energy. How we love complexity when the answer's rather plain. Join the sun in jubilee, sing with us this joyous strain. Solar
you to the church in Ocean Park. Now we are multi-faith, so we welcome you if you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, if you're Hindu, if you're Christian, if you are atheist, if you are a religious atheist, as one patient told me, or some combination of those, you are welcome here at the church in Ocean Park. I've learned some new technology during the last week, and you are welcome here if you are multigender, if you are omnisexual, abrosexual, bisexual, or pansexual. You are welcome to the church in Ocean Park. You are welcome if you work too hard, if you don't have a job, if you never had a job, or if you never got the position you wanted and you are so upset you refuse to work, you are still welcome here at the church in Ocean Park. We extend a special invitation to those who are single, married, transgender, rich, poor. We extend a special invitation to those who are just waking up, just got out of jail, just got out of prison, wherever you may be, you are welcome here at the church in Ocean Park. We don't care if you're more religious than the Pope or more humorous than the Dalai Lama. You are welcome at the church in Ocean Park. We extend a special invitation to those who are Gen Zs, millennials, Gen X. I heard about Gen Y and all. I don't know where that is. But baby boomers, those who are too mature even to be classified, you are welcome. We invite those who are in recovery, still addicted, having problems, or down in the dumps because you don't like organized religion, or you have heard that this was a strange type of church. We offer a special invitation to those who work too hard, those who have never been baptized or even or never went to church since your nephew's baptism. Yes, we invite all. We invite tourists, tree huggers, bleeding hearts, those who need a prayer. Welcome to the church in Ocean Park.
Thank you, thank you. That was Chaplain Joseph. Thank you, Chaplain Joseph. I'm Reverend Janet Gollery McKithen, and I'm the minister here at the church in Ocean Park. And I also welcome you. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you're virtually here. However you're here, I'm glad that you're here. We begin by acknowledging that most of us right now in Santa Monica, we are sitting on stolen land here. The land was taken violently from the Chumash, the Quiche, and the Tongva peoples. We acknowledge the harms of genocide, forced assimilation, enslavement, and destruction at the hands of U.S. colonial settlerism. And we also acknowledge that our communities and country was built on the backs of people who were stolen from Africa, placed into bondage, and forced into labor. We acknowledge that we all benefit from that labor that has never been repaid. In our acknowledgement, let us commit ourselves to healing by helping to create a more just and equitable world through changing how we do things that we see as normal, but are actually systemically hurting people. We all have biases, and it takes intentionality to build compassion for people whose lives are different from ours. So at the church in Ocean Park, we seek to work across boundaries, to tear down unjust systems, to build new relationships of healing and love. This morning, you'll hear from a variety of people, and if you hear from someone that you don't agree with, know that your voice is just as important as whoever it was that just spoke. If you just come in for the first time, your voice is just as important as someone who has been here for a very long time. Thank you for helping break barriers. Thank you for helping to build more compassion in the world, which we desperately need. Thank you for being part of bending the arc toward justice. We begin this morning with a Thich Nhat Hanh chant, so we center ourselves. We've been Who knows where you've all come from in different places, but we begin with the Thich Nhat Hanh chant. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. We'll say it 3 times. Welcome to the church in Ocean Park.
I want to introduce Magpie to you. They're going to be performing up here on screen. Since 1973, Terry Leonino and Greg Artzner have brought their unique sound and remarkable versatility to audiences everywhere, featuring traditional and vintage Americana to contemporary and stirring original compositions. With 2 strong voices in harmony and superb instrumental arrangements, their sound is powerful and moving. Award-winning recording artists, singers, songwriters, musical historians, playwrights, actors, and social activists, Terry and Greg are proud to be, as Pete Seeger said of them, more links in the chain, dedicating their lives and music to leaving this world a better place. And I might add that Kim Harris and Reggie Harris, who sang together for 40 years, also sang with them, and they have albums together, and they perform together, and they still do. So please welcome Magpie.
Beautiful welcome, and I feel so welcome.
All the welcome.
We've sung for you all before, and we love singing. We love your strange kind of church, and we always feel welcome here.
So help
Pete,
us with the Pete Seeger song.
Speaking of Pete, let's start with the Pete Seeger song, and I'm sure
Kim, I'm sure you can sing along with us wherever you are.
we've sung this with Kim
And Reggie.
and with Reggie
many times
over the years.
And it's one blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shores, one earth so green and round. Who could ask for more? And because I love you, I'll give it one more try to show my rainbow race. It's too soon to die.
One blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shore, one earth so green and round, who could ask for more? And because I love you, I'll give it one more try to show my rainbow race. It's too soon to die. One blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shore, one earth so green and round. Who could ask for more? And because I love you, and because I love you, I'll give it one more try to show my rainbow race, to show my rainbow race. It's too soon to die. And some folks want to be like an ostrich and bury their heads in the sand.
Some folks hope that plastic dreams will unclench all these greedy hands.
And some folks want to take the easy way, poison poisons, bombs, they think we need 'em.
Don't you know you can't kill all the unbelievers? There's no shortcut to freedom.
One blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shore, one earth so green and round, who could ask for more? And because I love you, I'll give it one more try to show my rainbow race. It's too soon to die. Now go tell all the little children, tell all the mothers and fathers too.
Now's our last chance to learn to share what's been given to me and you.
One blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shore, one earth so green and round, who could ask for more? And because I love you, I'll give it one more try to show my rainbow race. It's too soon to die. One blue sky above us, one ocean lapping all our shore, one earth so green and round, who could ask for more?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I can't wait till you're come this way, and we can have you right here and for a whole concert. Yes, we would love a whole concert. So Kathleen Benjamin is going to do our reading, and you all know Kathleen, but I want. There's so much you don't know about her. I just want to tell you a couple things. One is. Kathleen is deeply concerned with the relationship between art, especially public art, and community. Yeah. She was a community advisor for the Belmar Art and History Project, which culminated in the creation of a public work of art adjacent to the Civic Center that honors and memorializes Black residents of the Belmar Triangle of Santa Monica who lost their homes via eminent domain as space and human lives were cleared out for the construction of the Civic Center. Kathleen has a deep spiritual commitment. She is a spiritual practitioner licensed by both Centers for Spiritual Living and the Agape International Spiritual Center. Important aspects of her spiritual practice have been providing pastoral care for hospice patients and offering prayers, leading meditations, and creating workshops. She is deeply committed to the well-being of all people, and she is currently the president of the Santa Monica Area Interfaith Council. But most importantly, she is a member of the Church in Ocean Park as well.
Thank you for writing that. Mother Earth, Father Sky, great creator of the universe, we call forth the ancestors and those who have yet to come. We gather to praise your creation, to honor the swimmers, the crawlers, the four-legged ones, and the winged ones. We give thanks for your beauty and glory of creation. Open our hearts to new ways to understand our place in the universe, not the center or focus. but a humble and balanced place. Wherever we step, with every step we take becomes a prayer, where every word we say makes harmony with the vast, vibrating cosmos. You embrace with your tenderness all that exists. Pour onto us the power of your love, that we may protect, love, life, and beauty. Touch the hearts of those who only look for gain at the expense of the poor and the earth. Teach us to discover the worth of each thing, to be filled with awe and contemplation, that we may recognize that we are profoundly united and eternally connected to all of creation. I am grateful to bear witness to this unfolding moment of goodness. We answer the call from deep unto deep. We are blessed stewards of the earth. May we recognize that, like the earth, we too are divine. We bow the divine unto the divine. May we be guided and led to what is ours to do. The earth is indeed in need of love today. May we act in harmony, love, and generosity right away. We give thanks for this opportunity. We allow this to be so, and so it is.
I was so excited to sing about solar power. I forgot to tune this guitar. I get so excited to sing with you, I'll tell you. This guitar was in the desert all weekend. It's kind of dusty, maybe. Where we sit is holy, holy is this ground. Forest, mountain, river, listen to the sound. Great Spirit moving all around me. I like to put that little, where we sit is holy, holy is this ground. Forest, mountain, river, listen to the sound. Great Spirit moving all around me. I see somebody dancing back there. I love that. Where we sit is holy, holy is this ground. Forest, mountain, river, listen to the sound. Great Spirit moving all around me. Where we sit is holy, holy is this ground. Forest, mountain, river, listen to the sound. Great Spirit moving all around me. I'd love to hear more voices. No pressure. Where we sit is holy. Very good. Forest, mountain, river, listen to the sound. Great Spirit moving all around me. Where we sit is holy, holy is this ground. Forest, mountain, river, listen to the sound. Great Spirit moving all around me. I think you know that by now, right?
Now I'm introducing somebody else you don't need me to introduce, because most of you know Laurene Van Klan. She is here with us today. She's going to be speaking with us. Laurene Van Klan left behind a business career to pursue passion for the urban environment, wide spaces, diverse community, and nonprofit activism. She's currently the executive director and volunteer co-chair of Climate Action Santa Monica. Founded at the church in Ocean Park, right over here in a little table, 11 years ago, where she applies her 25 plus years of building nonprofits to try to nurture a climate movement that will face the big challenges locally with strength, creativity, and love. She is also a mother, a spouse, and a lesbian. And when she got involved with the church in Ocean Park, she found a new word for herself: interfaith. When she was young, her parents, each of them half Catholic and half Jewish, took her and her siblings to different churches of different faiths. God doesn't care what religion you are, they said, so long as you pray. She still believes that today and still prays, though sometimes it takes the form of hiking with her dog. For Earth Day, she is here to share some thoughts about how we might all face up to the climate crisis, embracing a multiplicity of views, beliefs, and superpowers. She will also give us a little update on Climate Action Santa Monica. Welcome, Laurene.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here in this lovely restored building. A few years ago, I'm going to raise this so I can see. Great. Thank you. Oh, that's good. I can see it.
It's good to see.
I started foraging for things in the forest a long time ago, but a few years ago I started foraging for mushrooms. And I was struck by something just being in here and looking around the room when I came in, that this is a beautiful forest right here, because I saw so many unique different mushrooms, each of you. When you're in the forest and you're looking for mushrooms, you're like, what's that one? And each one is like, they're also different. They have different ways of living in the earth, different colors, different ways of sending out spores, different root systems. Some are poisonous to humans, others nourish us. They're part of the ecosystem there, and they're all a little different. And I feel like I hope it's okay for me to see you all now as a beautiful field of lovely mushrooms, each with a special talent. And this is a beautiful forest because it is Earth Day, or it is Earth Month, whatever this is. And we all are part of an ecology, a spiritual ecology. I learned that word from Kathleen this morning. And that spiritual ecology is on the path. It is part of the path to solving, maybe winning, in this thing that we've heard of called the climate crisis. And it's this diversity of beliefs and the diversity of talents and some that we need to do this. Yes. And it's present here in this room, and it's present outside of this room. And I feel like this interfaith thing that I discovered here at the church is really a climate solution. And you are all that, right? Yes. So what is this climate solution? It's like a lot of different expressions of the forest, different expressions of God, however you experience God. And I just want to share what some of those are. So they're one of those beliefs and values and expressions of the divine. One of them is innovation, the God power of innovation, being clever, creative, willing to make mistakes, willing to go out of the box. And we do that here in Santa Monica. You know, this is a strange place with a strange church in it. Right? We have those little robots delivering food to people. You might hate them, but they're an innovation. Maybe they're a mistake, But they're on the path, right? We tried something here in Santa Monica called a zero emission delivery zone, right? Wouldn't it be great to not have all those trucks driving all around all the time with, but maybe there's a way, maybe there's a new way. We live in a place where people are trying to do that. Sometimes innovating is thinking backwards, and a lot of the people in this room have experience to think backwards to another time when kids walked to school, or maybe biked to school, or even took the bus to school. It's really hard to get to school if you're a kid these days, and so you know what happens? More than 60% of the kids that go to Samo High are driven in a car, often a single family vehicle, because they need safe streets. How do we innovate that? How do we take our knowledge, our wisdom that's in this room, and bring back that old idea, right, of walking to school? Innovation. We have something coming up very soon. It's an innovation. Tuesday night, our city council, please speak up. This is one of our powers of the mushrooms in the forest, to show a terrific bloom when needed, a beautiful color. Speak up. At the city council meeting on Tuesday, they will be talking about adopting an ordinance for low carbon concrete. People are very sensitive to any kind of change. Craig is nodding. He's an architect. It works. Low carbon concrete works. They've been using it to rebuild dams, and there's no reason to be scared of it, but it's a change. Let's lead here in Santa Monica with our voices and ask the city council to adopt that new ordinance. Another interesting thing, it's sort of happening here with the young people who are suing to have the climate protected for them, for their future. But it's this concept that there are rights that we haven't yet defined. The right of a young person to a stable future planet. The right of nature. We can innovate that here in our policy. So another superpower. This is one that some of you may not like. It's the power of markets. Ooh. Well, we live in a world with economy that has markets. And when we start putting out our demand out there for new things, different things, like electric appliances, electric heating for our homes. Most people don't know what kind of heating they even have in their apartment or home because it's the landlord or whoever who has that. Maybe if you own a home, you know. But figure that out and say, we want clean energy in our homes. When we put that signal out there, we shift the markets, and it allows those people who are in charge of our energy systems, their businesses, utilities, but there's other innovations that are happening that are interesting. You're putting out there a demand that allows them to say, yes, we're buying more renewable solar energy, right? We need that, or wind power, or anything that we can get that doesn't pollute the planet like fossil fuels. We have to get off fossil fuels. We've innovated something that's using those markets here in our Santa Monica area, the Clean Power Alliance. It's a new model. It is a nonprofit, right? Don't we want a nonprofit providing our energy rather than a for-profit? We have to make that entity successful. We have to support them in the quest to procure more renewable energy. It's something you don't see a lot, but when it comes up, and it does come up in our local policy to adopt new ordinances that move us toward electricity, that's uncomfortable. Like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get rid of my gas stove. I like my gas stove. I don't want them to disrupt my housing situation. We have to have faith that no one will lose their homes in this transition. We have to make sure that lives are not terribly disrupted, but we have to make that shift. We have to shift the markets. Because when we do, prices come down, solar energy becomes inexpensive, right? Renewable energy becomes inexpensive, and that's what we need. Another face of God, or another special mushroom, I just want to call love and compassion, right? And that is something that's rich in this church, right? And we stand by it and we act for it. And part of that is anti-racism, right? And housing equity. And the fossil fuel system generates huge profits. And those huge profits motivate greed. And that whole system is dependent, the whole fossil fuel system is dependent on being able to spew your waste on communities that don't have a voice, and you need to take away their voice in order to keep doing it. We have to break that system, right? That's what we have to do. So that's a form of love and compassion and equity. That's one of our interfaith superpowers. Another one special in this church is social action, right? Standing up, speaking up, using our voices, volunteering. We really need it now. We really need people to send emails, to be present, to get in the room where decisions are being made. I know some of us show up at city council meetings a lot. I know our friend Jerry Rubin does. He's always there encouraging. Speaking up is important. That social action, just want to say, I learned something the other day, is that elders, there's a bunch of us in this room and a bunch who aren't, several who aren't, but that elders have a unique capacity, it appears, to adopt the perspective of younger people. Whereas younger people have a harder time adopting the perspective of older people. Older people are also much more motivated by the idea of legacy. What are we leaving behind us for the future? I think I'm seeing people nod. I mean, I think many of us are concerned about that. And that's in a way a superpower, because just what this research suggests is other people don't have that as much as us. And what that means is that we are vital, we are critical to the path. We are on the critical path to solving this climate problem. We are necessary. And we have to show up and be part of it. Many of us are, I know. And many of us are so busy with the other things we're working on, feeding people, managing our lives, managing our health, but standing up for other good social causes. Make the space for the people who have the time to show up and speak up on these other climate issues. Invite them, encourage them. One of the best things you can do is talk about it. Talk about it with your friends, right? Find other people who can be part of this. So we have a special wisdom. We have a special superpower. Here in Santa Monica, we have 30 years of a sustainability rights ordinance. We innovated that. Here in the church in Ocean Park, we formed Climate Action Santa Monica. We are working on trying to bring the big picture issues at Climate Action Santa Monica down to the local level. Our largest energy users, the school district, the college, the hospitals, the supermarkets. Those are our biggest energy users. We need to get them to renewable energy. For about $80,000 to $110,000 a year, I know it seems like a lot. It's especially a lot if you want to fund salaries for assistant professors, etc. But that's all it would cost to eliminate roughly the equivalent of roughly 2.5 million transatlantic flights from the energy emissions, the electricity emissions, 2.5 million transatlantic flights for somewhere around $100,000 from the energy budget of the college. Their energy budget's about $2 million or something. $80,000 is not a lot. It's a hard decision to make, though, but we need to encourage our elected officials and our civic leaders to engage with this. Many of them are not thinking about it. They're thinking more about education. They're thinking more about salaries for the teachers. But it's a very small, very cost-effective, very efficient thing to do to move to clean, renewable energy now. It is a decision that makes sense. It does cost a little more. That's why we need the markets to bring down the price, unless we can have some other better energy approach, nonprofit, socialized energy, something like that. People are working on it. But I just want to say I feel blessed that the ceiling fell down, because I kept saying to myself, you know, I'm so busy with climate, I can't do anything with the church in Ocean Park. I need a sign. And then the ceiling fell down, and it was like something that hit Chicken Little on the head, right? And it was like, okay, that's it. That this special place, I have to find some way to put a teeny bit of room and attention into being part of this community. So thank you very much for allowing me to share those thoughts. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. I don't know how much time I used. I hope it was okay.
Perfect. It was perfect, Laurene. And now we'll have another song from Magpie.
That was a wonderful thing.
Wonderful talk.
And good ideas for us to act on. And one of our favorite sheroes is Rachel Carson. Now, she died April 14th, just last weekend, right?
Yeah, 60 years ago.
60 years ago.
We observed the 60th anniversary of her passing.
But Pete Seeger was connected to her in many ways because he was a political activist, a social activist. But after reading Silent Spring, he said, I need to be an environmental activist. And he told Greg and I that it was Rachel Carson that inspired his work on the Hudson to clean the Hudson. And his dream was boats to save the waters of the world. So here's a song about Rachel and how she continues to inspire all of us.
The wonder of their winged journey northward every year, bringing back their music to the birth of springtime here. For thousands of miles over land and over sea, the circle is unbroken, forever wild and free. Just one part of a tapestry that we stand to lose, sacrifice for our comfort, up to us to choose. One woman stood before the world with chilling words to say, a gentle urgent warning to find another way. Oh, gentle warrior for the earth, walk beside me, walk beside me. She stood with quiet dignity as a firestorm swirled round, facing the accusers who tried to bring her down. But soon her words of prophecy were known the whole world wide. Her vision for the earth would cause the turning of the tide. Oh, gentle warrior for the earth, walk beside me, walk beside me. And did they try to silence her? They tried to smear her name. The scientists of industry had to cover up their shame. Now down on the rocky coastline, where the salt winds damp and cool, where there's a miracle of the web of life in every tidal pool. Whenever you hear a veery or a thrush sing out his song, the soul of Rachel Carson is there singing along. Oh, gentle warrior, gentle warrior for the earth, walk beside me, walk beside me. The wonder of their winged journey northward every year, bringing back their music to the birth of springtime here. For thousands of miles over land and over sea, the circle is unbroken, forever wild and free. Oh, gentle warrior, gentle warrior for the earth, walk beside me, walk beside me, walk beside me, walk beside me.
Wow. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Now we have the opportunity to have some community sharing, and it's a time for you to make a statement or ask Laurene a question, or any of us a question. And we will start with Daria.
I just want to thank you for what you've said today, because it reminds me a great deal of a paper that I just presented at a conference where I wrote about the necessity theologically, because theologists wouldn't, the necessity theologically to remember our stewardship for this earth. And I grounded it in, biblical basing and Pope Francis's encyclicals. But, what you're talking about really makes me think that what we need is to remember what it is that we need to do for this planet, and in all of those innovative ways that you mentioned. So, thank you.
Yes, thank you. What I really loved about your talk is it was very positive. And very, there are things that we can really do. I often just feel so overwhelmed by climate crisis. I mean, it's like, what? And I just really appreciate it getting down to, okay, these are things we can do. I don't agree with you about the professors, assistant professor salaries, because I'm one of them. But there's other places they can find money. And I really appreciate it. It was very meaningful to me.
Thank you also for your presence. When you mentioned that they had robots delivering food, I've seen people in cars, and I've assumed that they're going somewhere. Recently, I saw a driverless car. And, that made a huge question. Where does a driverless car go? My question, to you, though, is when we look at the atomic weaponry that's being used in Ukraine and Gaza, the bombs and what have you. Those who watch these things have said, You know, the atomic clock used to be viewed in terms of minutes, now it's seconds. And I'm wondering, is there a similar measure that looks at climate? Is that measured, or is that studied in the way of how close we are in terms of losing all of the things that we, hold dear in reference to, climatology?
Thank you, Craig. I love your driverless car lead-in because to some degree there are some driverless cars out there with respect to climate. It seems that we can't lead, they can't make the right turn, the proper turn. You wonder, how did we get here? Who is leading this? And honestly, I think embedded power is leading it. It doesn't have a face necessarily. There's probably people, there's systems that have been set up that seem inescapable, that the pipelines, it could be a pipeline that was built or a law that was established, and those things are driving the car now, right? Those things. In terms of the clock ticking, there are various measures. One of the measures that's used is degrees. You've maybe heard of this, that the Paris Agreement, everybody acknowledged that 1.5 degrees was where we should aim, but that we probably could only get to 2 degrees above pre-industrial levels. Anyway, they use those degrees to measure. Now it's looking pretty hopeful, actually, that we will not get to the doomsday degree level they were talking about, which was somewhere between 4 and 7 degrees above pre-industrial levels temperature. And this is not my area of expertise, I have to say, but the good thing is we're down to maybe 2.5, 2.7 degrees, which is still pretty bad, actually, if you're a human with our life experience of what this planet can offer. Still, terrible things will happen at that level, but we can only keep pushing and be hopeful that we'll round that corner. So is there a time limit? People are talking about by the turn of the century, X and such has to happen, but we also have by about 7 to 10 years from now, certain major changes in reductions of fuels need to be made. Get rid of methane emissions, get rid of carbon emissions, refrigeration emissions that come from cars, shipping, and the gas systems that we have everywhere around us. There's a huge amount of leakage from the gas system that's just factored into the business model. And there's more and more being understood about the perils of methane. And we have a methane facility right near us in Playa del Rey, a huge one, similar to the one that exploded several years ago, not that far away. So these are just difficult things. That's the driverless car. Thank you. That was a long answer.
That's okay.
Speaking of clean power and stuff, I was just thinking that I use a Dyson air fan that I use every night. I've been using it for the last 4 or 5 years, and I bought it at the Century City Mall. And I really like it because it lets you breathe in, cleaner air, and then it pushes out, the bad air that we're breathing in, every day, because LA is just a polluted, city, and I just really like what Dyson has done for, just sort of better air, technology that they, that they use, with their fans, with their vacuums and other technology, stuff.
Thank you.
So, thank you. A couple things. one, you mentioned experimentation. And I think it's important because without it, you don't know if there's an advantage to it or not, whether it's the little cocoa things going around and being confused or the driverless cars. And I don't know if it's a point of progress or optimism, but I was driving on La Cienega yesterday and I saw a Waymo with no driver in it come out and try to get in the lane of traffic and do a completely stupid LA-centric move. It then blocked the whole other side of the street. And I thought, well, AI is working. They're emulating the way people really act. And so I don't know if it makes it more human or worse, but anyway, the other point that I wanted to make that I thought was really positive is the role of Climate Action Santa Monica or other organizations to push against the institutions and the infrastructure that kind of just keeps going in a direction. And I know, working as an architect now with Santa Monica College, they could be more progressive about energy than they are. And yes, there are pressures of assistant professor salaries and different things, but it does sort of get cast as a zero-sum game, and without the pushback that says we need to do this, or we need to set an example, or it's a teachable moment, it won't happen. And it does need that kind of pressure, and that's a positive thing. I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
Clear. You go to the other side and come back. Keep on not going to this side.
Well, thank you so much for being here this morning. It's my husband and I have embarked upon building the soil in our yard, our backyard and front yard, in order to stop the heating of the planet. So it's good to hear that we're at least not going that far into the wrong direction. But I heard a news story a couple of days ago about a number of organizations worldwide that are having a positive influence on the planet. And they're saying that these are new innovations that they are using in order to address climate change. And I was wondering if you were aware of any of the international movements, because so much of what is happening that is creating homelessness for people across the globe is happening outside of the States. It happens here too, but a lot of it's outside of the States.
Thank you. Well, I know of, there are many, many people across the globe that are working with and struggling with this issue. I don't know that I could recommend any organizations in particular. I did learn of one, which was fascinating to me. You mentioned Nourishing the Soil. This is an organization that is globally working to map out the mycelia networks that across the globe, they're going to the last relatively large untouched pieces of land, and they are figuring out these fungal networks that are responsible for bringing down so much carbon and that help regulate the health of our planet. And that organization is called SPUN. There are the amazing tree planting organizations in Africa in particular, in Kenya, that are really reforesting. I know there's a wonderful movement there. The international youth movement is activism. Craig mentioned, is a climate solution. Actually, they found that bang for the buck in terms of bringing down carbon funding activists is really worthwhile. And there are activist movements across the globe. But you know what I would love to do one day with you is just talk about that more and figure that out. Because the organizations also that are supporting the rights of young women are particularly important, because when women have autonomy over their living situations, their ability to make money, and their body, they are more able to care for their families and themselves, but they will have fewer children. In many parts of the world, 8 to 10 children is still happening, and not necessarily because the women or families want to be that large, but because of, so empowering women and girls is also important, but that would be really fun to do a study group. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna beep.
Oh my goodness.
And Jerry's been waiting a long time too. So I just wanted to say I love the metaphor of the mushrooms. Could I say we're fun guys? So I just wanted to say that I love the idea of doing something like Gail. I'm overwhelmed by the climate crisis. And I'm a traveling tutor, but I have times during the day when I'm at a library in between visits, and I could be emailing or writing postcards or something like that. I don't have the time to lead anybody, but I have the time to do things like that. And I would love leadership to tell me what to do. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't live in Santa Monica, so I don't know the city council. But if there was somebody to write, I would do it. So if there's something we could do in that direction, I bet there are other people than just me who would help.
I'm just going to stand up so you can see my T-shirt that I found in my closet from 35 years ago. There's a picture of planet Earth that says, doing our homework, and everyone kind of cleaning up the Earth there. So I thought it was pretty cool. It was a great talk you gave. I'm glad the City Council is proposing a youth commission or a council so that they'd be able to advise the council on issues that are important to them. I think I went to Santa Monica College, I think they're great, but I don't think it has to be a choice between energy or professor salaries. They can find the money. And don't forget, you know, it is an election year. People are running for school board, college board, city council, so make your voices heard. What you want, right? The people lead, the leaders will follow. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Pilger, he was a journalist from Australia. Amazing, you should look him up. I heard a speech of his where he talked about liberals. And liberals are the most dangerous on the planet, people, because they think they're doing good and they're not always doing good. Like supporting Biden, for instance. That's just my talk. That's not John Pilger. But, and okay, the Willow Project in Alaska, Joe Biden. You know, I saw this thing about them, and the indigenous people that live up there have been fighting this project for at least 5 years, and it's gone through. And I was just the once passed 1.5 degree tipping point would precipitate a cascade of devastating effects, including rising sea levels and extreme heat waves that could lead to millions of deaths worldwide by the end of the century. That's what it says on the phone. And then also solar panels. I have been tricked and lied to by solar companies. I'm trying to find a lawyer that will take me. Most of them are so overcrumbled with you know, solar panel rip-off companies. I have 3 panels on my, 3 different companies on my roof. One of them just disappeared one day when I was starting to have problems. I kept looking them up. They don't exist. They changed their stuff. So people really need to be careful about the whole solar thing. I am not sold on it right now because I've been ripped off by 3 different companies. And then, John Pilger, the Australian journalist, he's not alive anymore, but if you can listen to him, he talks the truth. And there was probably something else.
Thank you. Coming back over here. I told you I would.
This is just such a vast subject. I'll try to keep to a few things. If we don't have our heads in the sand like ostriches, we have to realize that I think that there are going to be terrible things that happen. And as you acknowledge, and they already have been. I mean, think of what's happened in the last 500 years to what is now the U.S. in terms of loss. There's so many irreversible losses that have already happened, and there are some that are inevitable, that it's too late to keep them from happening. And so I think we should be allowed to do quite a bit of grieving for what has been lost and what will inevitably be lost, although we don't know how much exactly what that is. But at the same time, we can't be totally overcome by, grief. We have to leave room for radical hope. And you're a good example that makes me feel more hopeful. Because part of what the hope has to be grounded in, I think, is the fact that humans are not just the product of what has happened, but we have agency. And no matter what happens, we will have some choices to make, and your positivity, reminds us of, there are people like Laurene who are putting careful, a whole lot of thought and action into making the best of whatever is happening. And in terms of innovation, it seems to me, not only technological innovation is going to be needed, but social innovation. I think there will be, in the future, I don't know what the timeline is, there'll be a tremendous amount more migration in the world. And we're going to need to rethink our philosophy of borders, for instance, and of who should be welcome where. Especially since the U.S. is one of the people that pollutes the planet the most, but we're affected by it the least in a lot of ways. And I wonder if you have thoughts about social innovations that are needed. How do we prepare ourselves for dealing in ethical and compassionate ways with whatever changes are ahead?
Yeah. Well, actually, this is another study group, social innovation, but I think we see it a little bit happening. I think our young people are also leading the way in some dimensions of this, with their questioning of everything from gender to jobs. And I think they're figuring it out, but it's not easy. But yeah, we need social innovation as well, particularly in housing and food. And a group of us met. A group of people met recently to talk about how do we stimulate more housing alternatives for seniors to be able to age in place and in their own community. And I think we have to figure those things out. So yeah, there's a million social innovations. Let's figure them out.
So there's one more person, then we're going to have to close. And then if you have any other, your thing come, oh yeah. And
We have Zoom too.
Louise, and then online, we do need to wrap this up a little bit after that, because we talk forever, obviously.
Yeah, I hesitate to share this, but I feel like I have to. I read a heartbreaking article in the Atlantic Monthly the other day about the Maasai people in Africa. They're being attacked on their lands because of over-tourism and what is being called conservation, and it's being tracts of land are being bought up by the Chinese and the Arabs to have, special sites for tourism and things like that, and just heartbreaking. So I had to share. Yeah, thank you, Lizzie. Yeah.
Right, those online? Who's online?
We have Maureen.
Pardon?
Maureen.
Maureen.
Go ahead, Maureen.
Well, welcome.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Laurene, for just a wonderful presentation and talk and presence and your work in the world. I want to thank Trudy for bringing in gardening, Jean for bringing in humor, and also Bob sort of pointed to something I want to just name here, which is the impact of all of this loss on our own souls and our hearts, and the grieving that is, I think, a necessary support for the activism that we do. And to that end, I am shamelessly putting something I'm leading in a couple of weeks at Inside LA, a day long of contemplative practice and counsel, which I learned in this church, around gratitude and grief for the environment. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Anybody else online? Anybody else online? Okay, great. All right, we will thank you so much for all this. And it's something she didn't mention before. She almost got to it, but when she decided that the roof was falling, ceiling was falling down, and she needed to do something, she created a power team. Part of the reason there is a ceiling now is because of Laurene. Yeah. Some of us are on that power team, but we wouldn't have come together in a strong way. She said, is this a crisis or not? I mean, are we going to do this or we're not? So thank you so much. And thank you for your talk, and thank you all for this conversation. And we'll have a moment of silence, and it'll be broken by the magpies.
This song is a little bit of a contemplation on what connects us all around the globe. Very easy to sing along, and we hope you will. The chorus just says, Mother Ocean nourishes me at full moonlight tide at the edge of the sea. Water is life. Water is life. Mother Ocean nourishes me
meet full moonlight tide at the edge of the sea. Water is life. Water is life. Mother Ocean nourishes me at full moonlight tide at the edge of the sea. Water is life. Water is life. Sing it with us. Mother Ocean nourishes me at full moonlight tide at the edge of the sea. Water is life. Water is life. All those harmonies. Mother Ocean nourishes me at full moonlight tide at the edge of the sea. Water is life. Water is life. Standing on this rocky shore, something holds my eye on that perfect far distant line where water meets the sky. I don't need a mighty ship sailing across the sea, 4,000 deep within. I know what you mean to me. Mother Ocean nourishes me at full moonlight tide at the edge of the sea. Water is life. Water is life. Mother Ocean nourishes me at the edge of the sea. Water is life. Out on broad Pacific, under the sun's relentless glow, your waters rise up to the skies, where western winds will blow. Those clouds enshroud my mountain top, feed the forest with their rain. Then it runs down to the rivers and back home to you again. Mother Ocean nourishes me at full moonlight tide at the edge of the sea. Water is life. Water is, oh, water is life. Mother Ocean nourishes me at full moonlight tide at the edge of the sea. Water is life. Water is life. I'm gonna lay my body down on the salt sea sand and let the waves wash over me, the foam running through my hand. Mother Ocean nourishes me at full moonlight tide at the edge of the sea. Water is life. Water, oh, water is life. Mother Ocean nourishes me at the edge of the sea. Water is life. Everything I am, everything I need, I know it's true, it comes from you. Water is the seed, little Mother Ocean planet, the universe so wide. We've got to rise up like the moon and try to turn the tide. Mother Ocean nourishes me at full moonlight tide at the edge of the sea. Water is life. Water is, oh, water is life. Mother Ocean nourishes me at full moonlight tide at the edge of the sea. Water is life. 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 Water is life.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are